exactly this API works. So API stands for Application Programming Interface, and so these APIs are the mechanisms that enables any two software components to communicate each other by using the set of protocols and set of definitions. So any API contains the collection of functions and the procedures. So that's all about the API, and let's discuss how exactly this API works. So firstly, if you look at this diagram, we have the client application, that is nothing but our system, that is nothing but our computer. From our computer, we can prepare the API request. After preparing the API request, we can send this API request to the server side. After sending the request to the server side, firstly connection will be established between the client application and the server. Then API request will be sent to the server side. So once the request is received by the server, it will process the request and it will send the API response back to the client application. So it can be the success response or it can be the failure response. So this is how exactly the API works. So let's discuss what are the different types of API we have. So we have four types of API. First one is private API. Second one is public API. Third one is partner API. Fourth one is composite API. So let's talk about each API one by one. The first API is private API. So these are the one type of APIs which is used within the any enterprise or the organization to perform the internal operation. So let's discuss second type of API, that is a public API. So these type of APIs are exposed to the public. So it can be used by anyone, and public APIs are sometimes cost associated, and also these public APIs can be this type of APIs can be requires some authentication or some authorization. You may have to generate some tokens to use that particular API. And the third type of API is partner API. So basically, when two business to achieve any one business goal, one business has to talk to the another business. In those cases, we will be using the partner API, and the last type of API is composite API. So composite API is nothing but it is a combination of above three APIs. It can be private API plus public API, or it can be public API plus partner API. So it is a combination of two APIs.